What is up, guys? Max Vangeli here from NoFace Records. As many of you know, we have a music program called the NoFace Academy where we help the next generation of up-and-coming electronic dance music producers achieve their dreams and goals in releasing incredible records around the world. One of the biggest challenges that we have seen our students face is, of course, mixing and mastering. And all the dance music is played in high-level sound systems, of course, in the club, so it's important to nail that mix or elite DJs are simply not going to support your music. So today we're going to be diving into a mixing and mastering session that we did for one of my favorite tracks on NoFace, from Izaz and Willis, two of our top producers in the NoFace Academy. And we are going to be taking a look at how to make a mix sound like this instead of it sounding like this. So let's dive into the session and enjoy. So let's play my mix one more time and then listen to the original before we dive in. So this is mine and this is the original. As you can see that this track is very, very percussive based and a lot of low end, obviously not so much lead sound based. So we need to focus on a low end very carefully on this one. So the first thing we're gonna dive into is the low end. So the low end, I always have it grouped with my kicks and the bass sounds and everything. So I'm going to show you what I have here. Grouped together. I call it meat. This is kick and the bass. Okay, so let's see what we did here. So first of all, on the group itself, I have some light compression, a glue compressor here. You can see the settings here. Not too much, just a light squeeze to make it a bit softer. That's all really that's doing essentially. So if we go over to the kick, you could see that I low cut the kick a bit. So let's listen to the kick here. Let's solo it. You can't hear it, but a lot of the times there's a lot of mud going on here. And since this track is so muddy, as you can hear, we're gonna have to be doing a lot of EQing. So what I wanna emphasize on is that you guys are gonna see me doing a ton of EQing here, more than actually doing any processing. There's gonna be a lot of EQing. So if we go to our bass lines here, this is our bass line sound, one piece. And let's take off my processing here. In solo mode, it sounds phenomenal, but this is the biggest problem area because it's so thick and rich, the sound of the bass line, that we need to shave it a bit. So what we did here is, the first thing that we did is side chain it, just some light side chaining. And then what we did is did some EQing. So what we did is we did a low cut at 40 hertz. Now you have to use your ear on this. Sometimes don't go above 40, I would say. Probably stick to a 40 shave here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the sub is so bassy, so incredibly bassy, that if I look at it on my master chain here, it's already registering a lot of low end. So I did a quick shave here at 40 and then cut the highs, because look what's happening here. The reason why I did that is because we have the secondary bass here, and if we listen to it, And as you can see, there's so much high end going on. There's really no need for that. So that's just more mud. So again, this is what my processing was before. This is what we have before the processing. Again, very thick bass stabs, which means that we need to cut those lows because you have to make a decision what's driving the sub, this or this. And I'm assuming that this is more thick. So we're going to go ahead and shave this off at around 95, sometimes even more. I wanted to leave a little meat. So what I would do is I would solo them against each other. And I have an isotope imager for some stereo width. But if you listen to this solo together, if I take off this EQ here, you see what kind of a mess was created. So a lot of the times when I hear a lot of tracks, when they're being processed, a lot of the guys are not taking a look at the high end of the bass. A lot of the times the high end of the bass is what's interfering with a lot of the frequencies all around. So altogether, if we just solo our sub, our kick and bass channel, this is what we have. Very, very tight, as you can see. So if you listen to the original again, now I don't have the percussions and all of that playing, but you can hear right away how much mud was cleaned out by this simple process of elimination. And if you look at my channels, I have nothing going on here in terms of processing, just basic EQing here. So this is a really good example of that. So now that we have our low end sorted, let's take a look at the rest of the elements and let's dive into the lead sounds now. There's not much going on when it comes to the lead sounds here, but again, everything grouped together. I have all my leads here in this particular group. And the only lead that we have on the drop, and it's actually right next to this channel called extras, is because this is sort of like a percussive lead sound. So if we solo this lead that we have, so now the bass, what we did here is on this channel is we have a bit of drum bus processing, which actually gives it a little bit of thickness. If I took this off, you see it gave it a little crunch and drive, gave it a little bit of a body because I felt like that lead was a bit too thin. And then again, right away, we need to cut this, low cut it, probably low cut it even more. I didn't do it here because I could see that it's cut, but technically it should be around here. And then again, do you see I'm cutting the highs? I'm cutting the highs. I'm creating room for percussions and other elements. So and I like that high, right? But the problem is that this extra percussive lead that comes in here, and I'll play it for you here, is going to interfere with it if we have those high end, if that high end is exposed. Now, on the channel itself of the lead here, the only thing I have is, this is why I already low cut it. That's why it didn't really matter here, is because I had it low cut on the individual channel. So let's take a look at that secondary element here. As you can see, I have it low cut, not high cut, in order to compensate on the high end. Again, an easy drum bus for a little bit of processing. This is how it sounds before. Just gave it a bit of thickness, and if you play it together with this, let's play the lead sounds together. Okay, but if we expose this high end, There's too much going on, especially on that the vocal. I like it, but the thing is, like, I like the crispiness of the percussions. So you just have to make a decision. I mean, you can either high cut this, which I would not do since it's a percussive element. So together with the leads, this is what we have so far with the low end. And if we take a look at our spectrum analyzer on the master, you will see how evenly matched this is. We don't have any hats here yet, so this area is going to be exposed for that, but it's nice and even, more or less, so we're definitely getting there. We're getting a nice RMS. My new RMS favorite is somewhere around -7.5 to 8.5. I don't like to squeeze it more than that. So I usually control that RMS level with my input gain here. And I'll explain what's on the master once we're done with everything else. So that's all we have on the leads, honestly. Again, it's a very percussive style record. So this particular lead is on a breakdown. On this, these are just the extra hats, so they're not even leads. So now that we took a look at the leads, let's look at the percussion and see what we have. We were sent the percussion bus technically together, so it's just one stem. And let's take a look at the stem. Okay, so we just did some low cutting, and again, remember, we want to keep that high end from all the cutting that we did on the leads, so I left this exposed and didn't cut it, and I put a little glue compression. Look. Just to give it a little bit of life, like a lot of the times when a track feels a bit flat, I like to add glue compression on percussions, especially. They just kind of bring out the crispiness and the volumes of everything. It just makes everything even. So if you listen to what we have so far with the extras and the leads, this is what we have. The hi-hats are nicely filling up that high end now, as you can see here. So that's basically it. Since this is a mix and master, this is all I have on the percussions. I like to bust my percussions regardless. If I had more channels here, as you can see, is just one stem, I would probably have this glue compressor on the bust compressing all of the percussions. And now we have a couple of extra elements here. Some effects, some vocals. The vocals on this track sound like this, actually. I will play it for you.
Esa bebé en la cama se la mala, mueve el culo como si fuera una diabla, yeah.
Now, this vocal is very heavily processed, so I actually do not have anything on here. I didn't feel like it's needed, honestly, other than I would probably low cut this just to make sure it doesn't interfere with anything. But there's not much interference here in the breakdown since these vocals are not on the drop. So that's basically what we have here. The effects, nothing is done here. I'd probably low cut it a bit depending on what it is. I'm mainly focusing on the heaviness of the parts. The heavier the parts, the harder they are to mix. So let's take a look at the final drop and see how it all sounds together. In comparison, and now let's compare this to that. There's an element here on the drop that the guys decided not to use, so that's not in there, and That is why it sounds a little bit different, but dynamically you guys can hear the massive difference. And if we go to my master channel, I would like to really point out that I don't really have much stuff going on here. So let's just go to the first drop here. And let's take a look at my master. I have the utility to control the volume. This is just a volume automation. I have utility to control the volume. Then I have a small boost on the high end because I felt like I wanted to add a bit of crispiness with the ozone. Then I have Ableton limiter. I usually always have two limiters. They're both this one's not doing anything. The Ableton limiter is just putting a clamp on the signal. Then I have a second limiter, which is the ozone limiter, just to catch anything that squeezes through. As you can see, threshold -2. Not really much going on the master. As you can see, what a massive difference that is, of course, between the original and the final master that we have. This track is out already, so you can check it out. It's an incredible record from the guys, obviously, at the NoFace Academy. So definitely be sure to support and check it out, and let us know in the comments below what you thought of the video, if there's anything that you want to learn more, because I will continue doing these mixing and mastering videos for you, so you guys can, you know, learn, obviously, and realize one very important thing, that sometimes all it takes is some basic EQing and volume finessing than anything else, essentially.